Coach, I know that you've been happy with the first 10 to 12 practices and you all been stacking days, but now's the time that the coaching staff really has to see who's going to separate themselves and as you hone in on the game prep. What are you all looking for as a coaching staff over the next few practices?
Yeah, we're just trying to see, how many guys do we have in the program who can play consistent winning football. I know we got a lot of guys that can run fast, jump high, catch one-handed catches, make interceptions, but who can consistently play winning football, who can play the technique, who can play the call, who can play the adjustment, who can get the sign from the side, signal from the sideline, who can apply the technique to a different formation, whatever that may be. And the more consistent guys that we can find who can do that, the longer we'll be able to sustain, a pretty good team throughout the season. When we start losing guys and we don't have guys that, can play consistent winning football, it puts us in a little bit of a bind. So this week we're looking to see who can play consistent winning football. The first week was about, who would strike a block and who could, run fast and who could get out of a break, and all those things were great. In the first scrimmage, we saw some of that. Some of the young guys got a chance to show that. Now what we got to figure out is what do they really know and how can they apply all of it to play winning football.
When you looked at the film from the first scrimmage, I know post-scrimmage you were really excited and really thought the execution was good. What did you all see from that first scrimmage that you liked or maybe didn't?
Yeah, no, you see exactly what you think you see, when you're out there. You got guys who are really, really talented and athletic, who have probably made a lot of plays in their career by just being talented and athletic. And when they could use their talent and athleticism, they made some splash plays. But when they had to actually use the technique and the fundamental, that's where they had some of their issues. So being able to go back and just show them, hey, look, this is not high school, man. You can't run around the block. You can't just hit the ball and run to the sideline. But being able to show them, hey, here's why your fundamentals and your technique are so important. Quarterbacks, if you're not on time in this league, they're going to pick the ball off. So here's why your footwork's got to be right. Here's why you got to see the read, pre-snap, those type of things. I was probably as pleased or more pleased with the execution that we did see, because there were some guys who were consistently doing the right thing, catching the ball, making some tackles in the right position. The fundamentals and technique, applying them to the calls and to the adjustments, that's what we got to continue to work on.
You get under that 3-week period until your season opener and the whole town's buzzing about it, and everywhere you go, especially as students get back, people are talking about it. How do you keep the guys from looking too far ahead and keeping it that one day at a time mentality?
Well, we've been talking about, what's coming, the whole time. This week's all about distractions because, like you said, the freshmen are coming back. People are starting to get, around the campus. They got Wild Week going on. Classes start on Monday. So we've been talking about distractions and being able to focus on the task at hand. This is going to happen during the season. We're going to have games and family members are going to come in and, you're going to have an exam and you're going to have things that you got to be able to do. Distractions are not always a negative. It's just things that take your focus from whatever the main goal is. And we've just been talking about it. In order for us to be the type of team we want to be, we got to be able to focus on the main goal and keep our eyes, down and keep working. But understanding that part of managing your distractions is having a really good plan. Understanding the schedule, planning ahead, understanding these are the things that I got to be able to do, but ultimately I still have a main goal that I got to focus on.
How beneficial has this last couple weeks been? That guys are pretty much, as close to professional athletes as possible. The things that they're focused on are, meetings and learning film and then practice. You incorporate school next week. So how important is it these next 4 days to really lock in and make sure you finish this thing right?
Yeah, we told them at the beginning of the week this is the most important week because this is the last week that they pretty much have just all football and no other obligations, class, study hall, those type of things. So the growth that we have this week is going to be pretty much the biggest growth because next week, obviously with other things coming in, we're going to be in a different scenario. But I think this week our leaders have done a really good job. They had a team meeting, I think it was Sunday, and they just kind of said, hey, we got to finish this thing the right way. Going into the week of school, we got to make sure we maximize this. They've started to organize some of their own player meetings and player workouts and lifts extra on top of what we're doing, which is good because they recognize it. We have a really good team. But we still have a long way to go in order to capitalize on having a good team. So I'm really impressed with our leaders. I can't say it enough. That doesn't equal any wins. So let's make sure everybody understands that. But what that does is it equals consistency in our approach. And if we can do that, the wins, the success, and those things will come. We got to have consistency in your approach, and that starts with our leaders.